I was quite surprised that the game thrown me into this desolated, post-apocalyptic, lonely and atmospheric scenery. It's definitely a lot more different from what I'm used to.
Well, Final Fantasy, anyway.
Yes, of course. The atmosphere in this game is masterfully crafted. And it is so functional because the game actually is so strict with its progression. It is an extremely linear game I've seen so far. It doesn't really let you go whenever you want, which I understand might be a deal breaker for classic fans of the franchise, but for me it worked. Honestly, it worked. I am more concerned with atmosphere and the plot progression and the theming when it comes to my gaming experience, and if a game is able to draw me in, then I would be more than willing to drown, see what I did there, myself into it.
Ah, yes. Albed language.
Yes.
Macalania.
And again, this is another form of subtle world building. There is an alien language that later on we associate to a group of people, a persecuted minority that is. These are glyphs all over the world. Again, they constitute a really nice way to present your world.
I really like the fact that basically the game, tries to use the Albed primers, so then you could translate the Albed language, but then you would have to replay the game in order to read that again to know what it's saying.
Okay, Final Fantasy X, you're doing great in making me invested, but if you think for 1 second I would replay this game from the beginning, especially with the sphere grid, you are sorely mistaken. And yes, we'll get to talk about the sphere grid system in due time.
Yeah.
Which is the only huge blemish I've felt so far in my playthrough. Because up until that point, this game was being stellar. I like the introduction, I like the atmosphere, I like the procedurally presented elements of both the world and the characters in it.
Yeah.
I am even enjoying the main character. By all intents and purposes, he should be a insufferable brat. And I'm sure he gets the chance to at some point, but since there are so little dialogues, so little to say, but a lot to show in contrast, the game is fooling me into thinking it's actually very well written. I'm being facetious, this might actually be really good in terms of storytelling, although I wouldn't hold my breath, see what I did there?
Yes.
Because I've just played the first few hours.
Yeah, I know. I remember when I played this game the first time, all those years ago, back in college, actually. I remember buying the game at full price because I came off of Fantasy 9 years before that, and I was so excited for 10 because it looked so good. The designs looked so interesting. The world looked interesting from the screenshots in the magazine I read.
And then, what happened?
And then I was...
Just fell down like Alan Rickman in Die Hard.
Yeah.
Whoa! In slow motion and everything.
You did say Tidus had a bit of, Die Hard in him.
Terryton. His name is
Yeah,
Terryton.
Terryton. Yeah,
Terryton. I
Terryton.
can't believe I named him Terryton. I am stuck with Terryton for the next 60 hours.
I don't know. It's not as bad as me calling a protagonist Doip for a test file, and then you know, find out I can't change the name even if I delete the save file.
Oh boy.
I
We are
actually do
in
like
a subaquatic combat situation. Yes, I was surprised.
Sometimes in certain special battles like this, there would be this, you know, instead of the usual, you know, fade, you know, in or glass breaking.
Glass breaking, it's very dramatic.
Yeah, glass breaking to the battle sort of thing. It basically instead goes for a cinematic sort of
transition
to the fight.
Which is to say, a proper transition.
Which basically adds to the immersion I found back then.
Yes, immersion. Get it?
Yes.
So many water jokes.
Yes.
Anyway, I enjoyed immensely this idea of being lost in an alien world so far removed from civilization, having to fight for survival. This almost would have been the premise of a survival horror game if it wasn't Final Fantasy.
Yeah, it would have been.
It would have been quite something. Ouch.
I would like to say that, I don't know if I've said it already or not, but the music is quite nice. Most of it is forgettable, but there's certain pieces of music in this game that when they hit it, they really hit it. My favorite from this particular one actually is the one from the beginning, that piece of music.
Yes, the one they played during the Blitzball cutscene.
No, I mean the one where Terryton is talking about this is my story, and there's this sad, you know, sorrowful tune in the background.
Yes. By the way, how good is that first scene? Again, I cannot stress enough how good and surprising that was. No dialogues. Whatever it is that these characters are going through, you know it's grave, and the scene lets you sink that in as it goes on.
Just taking the emotional aspect of the scene itself and not have any, you know, forced exposition about why they're there.
With that said, the editing is atrocious. Because every time they switch from one angle of the camera to another, they freeze the frame and then they fade. That's terrible editing, and I don't understand why it's a thing. It probably has something to do with the technological limitations of the PlayStation 2 and the technology in general available at the time, but still, it sort of ruins an otherwise perfectly presented scene.
Bits and bobs here and there, you know, that don't
I am using my telepathic telekinesis powers to move this rubble. Oh, that was badly animated. Cold. Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Need fire.
Oh, okay, it's Dark Souls. It's the Dark Souls of Final Fantasies. Oh boy. Suddenly a puzzle about lighting up a fire? This is so unlike any other Final Fantasy. I am so invested in this. It's different. And different is good, especially if it's, well, I say different is good, but Well, looking
not-
at future
Yeah.
installments of the series, maybe different is good in certain areas, but not in others. Let's leave it at that.
Yes. I was gonna say the exact thing, actually.
Don't mind the black screen, I am saving the game.
Okay, so what we got here?
I do like this room, by the way. The details, that is. The water flowing from the ceiling, the rubble and ruinous building blocks, ancient building blocks, the merciless sea wind coming out of the window.
Yeah. It all adds to the atmosphere, really.
Yes, atmosphere is top-notch, because scenario designing is top-notch. And music.
Yeah.
And the way the character interacts with it. Which is surprisingly understated, but effective. The only thing that doesn't work is Terryton's dress wear. He looks ready to star in Kingdom Hearts, doesn't he?
Funny you say that.
I know he's in Kingdom Hearts, but he does not dress as bad in Kingdom Hearts, funnily enough.
It's quite funny that, I find.
No, they gave all the worst dress wear to Sora in that series. Oh, it's all because Nomura really loves his bad outfits that constantly clash with the environment and the mood and the theme and what have you. They're not even practical for playing in water.
I find it quite interesting that Nomura actually has improved over the years as an artist.
No, you see, now he's come to the point in which he's making dress wear bad on purpose to piss off the fans, because he said it, with them complaining about his visionary character design and fashion sense. Which is hilarious to me. But yes, I think it's fair to say that the series went downhill in the narrative and atmospheric and gameplay department after Hironobu Sakaguchi left Square Enix for good.
Yeah.
I dare say that Final Fantasy X is the last true classic of the series, because everything changes after that. With that said, I don't know how Final Fantasy X-2 panned out, so that might be another surprise. I do know how it begins, and it's a relatively stark contrast with the beginning of this game, tonally wise.
Yeah. Oh boy. We just dropped into his head.
It's time for some flashback action.
It was a bad
Oh, Auron. Wait, are you the coach?
because of you.
I was gonna say.
I am not quite sure what his relationship with Auron is, but we know it's a relationship based off of years of knowing each other. And that's really all we need to know for the purposes of the narrative at this point. The kid throws me off, though, I have to say.
Yeah, I like how he just came out of nowhere going like, you cried.
Nya, 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 nya.
You totally cried.
Oh no! Fire! You were my best
Fire.
friend!
Don't give up on me. I'll get more wood for you. I'll save you alive.
I just love this! The fire camp! This is long lost friend. Please don't die on me. Oh no. I'll save you, fire! Oh, that monster sure likes to show off. We get it. You can run on walls. I am very impressed with that.
the re-emergence of the Final 7 boss, guys. You all liked the Materia Keeper, didn't you?
I don't even remember that.
I'm a bit of a nerd when it comes to bosses. So
Listen,
yeah.
the only boss fights that matter are the ones where the song is performed by Crush 40. Nothing else matters.
And nothing else matters.
I'm all of me, I'm all of me, I'm all of me. Now, that's one way to make an entrance.
Yeah.
Right, so this is our unofficial introduction to Riku.
Yeah.
Hello there. And
Nice
I
to see you.
must say, this is a very, very effective introduction as well. She just casually strolls in, sees him in trouble, and without uttering a word, she just decides to help.
You on my side?